February 13th, 2010, Helmand Province. More than 60 helicopters lift off into the early morning darkness, carrying thousands of troops toward a single, isolated town. When the boots hit the dirt, the troops brace for contact. But instead, they find complete silence. The streets are empty. There is no gunfire, no resistance at all. The initial stillness was a mirage. It masked the beginning of a month-long canal-by-canal struggle that forced the military to pivot from a rapid assault to a slow, costly occupation. Marjah is a dense agricultural maze defined by tight mud walls and irrigation canals. Those canals fed an endless sea of poppies, producing a massive percentage of Afghanistan's opium trade, operating as a reliable multi-million-dollar paycheck for the Taliban. In early 2010, the U.S. initiated the Surge, a massive influx of troops executing a heavily resourced counterinsurgency doctrine. The goal was to clear out insurgents, hold the territory, and protect the civilian population. Military leadership designated Marjah as the primary test case for this model. Success here meant establishing a government presence in a district under direct Taliban control for years. The operation began as the largest air assault of the war up to that point. Thousands of heavily armed Marines and Afghan soldiers descended into the district simultaneously. They ran into a geographic nightmare. Thick, mud-walled compounds and narrow trenches provided fighters countless hidden positions to launch ambushes. The silence quickly shattered. By the third day, troops engaged in 36 separate firefights within a 24-hour period. Every movement required extreme caution. Platoons methodically swept the dirt roads for hidden improvised explosive devices, the deadliest weapon in their arsenal. Despite the brutal conditions and heavy resistance, coalition forces pushed forward. They leveraged overwhelming firepower and strict discipline to steadily dismantle the enemy's defensive lines. Within a few short weeks, the Taliban realized they could not win a head-to-head firefight against heavily armed Marines. Their organized, visible fighting presence simply evaporated from the district. The operation earned high formal praise. The 2nd Marine Expeditionary Brigade was awarded the Presidential Unit Citation, a rare distinction for extraordinary heroism. By every traditional metric used by the Pentagon, taking Marjah was a flawless, undeniable tactical success. The physical ground was officially secured. But capturing territory is very different from managing it. As the smoke cleared, troops faced the immensely complex task of establishing a functioning local society. The plan called for a government in a box, installing new Afghan officials who immediately met with local village elders to establish authority. But these meetings were incredibly tense. The residents held deep skepticism toward a national government that felt distant, corrupt, and disconnected. The military had forcefully removed the physical threat, but they could not mandate cooperation. Securing a farming town proved vastly easier than convincing its people to trust a foreign-backed administration. There was a deeper problem. The insurgents hadn't actually left Marjah. Many simply dropped their weapons and blended seamlessly into the local population. They maintained a quiet, invisible network. From the shadows, they watched the daily patrols go by, knowing the massive coalition presence couldn't stay forever. The clear combat victory was already actively unraveling. The enemy didn't need to defeat the Marines in battle. They only needed patience to outlast them. This operation exposed two different realities. While strategists viewed Marjah as a liberated district, local families experienced something else entirely. One resident described the assault as a wave of destruction that felt like the end of the world, and the toll on the forces attempting to secure the region was permanent. American and Afghan troops paid a steep, irreversible price in lives lost and deep psychological wounds that followed the survivors home. The brief window of tactical control over Marjah required an immense sacrifice from the men ordered to capture it and the civilians forced to survive it. Today, Marjah has returned to a quiet agricultural rhythm. The military outposts are gone, and the massive coalition footprint has been erased. Yet military analysts continue to dissect the events of February 2010. They study this operation because it maps the specific failure cascade that often defined the broader campaign. Marjah serves as a precise model of the disconnect between military victory and political stability. It showed that clearing an area of insurgents is only a temporary fix if the governing structure that follows cannot sustain the trust of its people.